Now, I would go into the clubs, I would be so out of my skull. The blood will be running out of your nose because you can only snort cocaine so much. Then, your nose starts to
Jeez.
bleed. I even still today, I've got nose issues.
Yeah.
Then you start smoking it.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Fit Father. So today we have Andre Grobler with us, and thank you so much for joining. And just to give some background, a couple of days ago, about a week, 2 weeks ago, I was browsing on Facebook and I saw a post which kind of caught my attention, and I'm going to read it to you guys just to share that background with you and just to kind of touch on Andre's story before he actually starts to take us through the whole journey that he's been on. So it was on 17 September that Andre posted the following, and he tagged his wife, Vicky, on this post. I've been asked 1,000 times, 100 times, how I was able to kick my addictions, and believe me, I drank, smoked, and snorted anything I could get my hands on for around 9 years. I gave up a few times and relapsed a few times, then stopped again at the age of 28 and relapsed again after that. But to get back to the question, how did I stop? Easy. I asked God, please help me, I'm lost and I don't know what to do. And believe me, he did. But he didn't magically make me addiction free. No, I had to put in the work, and boy did he teach me a few lessons, which at the time I thought was punishment. But today I know he had a different path waiting for me, and I was being prepared. Sitting here every Sunday morning thinking at 5 o'clock, this was normally the time I would be at my lowest point from the previous night's partying and was on my way to get another fix. Now I sit and listen to the birds chirping, see the sun rise, and just look at my family. While they are sometimes still asleep. What a wonderful feeling it is to be alive and well. I'm talking to you, the one feeling depressed, angry, miserable. Please do not give up. Ask and you will be healed. And when that day comes, please remember the responsibility you have to say no to that friend and that urge. You will remain an addict till the day you die. Even if you are blessed to the age of 100, one glass of wine or just one sip of beer and that monster is back. Love to all my addict brothers and sisters, recovered, in recovery, or still using. So, so that's the post that really caught my attention, and I've met Vicky, your wife, and she's a beautiful woman and a beautiful soul, and I've seen a lot of posts and a lot of on Facebook of your family,
Yep.
and it's beautiful.
No,
It's
thank you.
something that
Yeah.
that one can really look up to, and it's awesome. So, Andre, thank you for coming, and if you can maybe take us back and start the story, kick it off. Where did this thing start, and how did you, and when did you, and how did you just get out of this whole mess?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Andrea. It's it's a big thing for me being here. I'm glad you asked me, so thank you very much for having me on your cast. Yeah, it's been a long journey. I'm 44 years old. Um, Going back many years, growing up as a only child. Uh, Brought up by my mom. My dad was in and out, in and out. He was in prison. He died while he was in prison. Not inside prison, but while he was in prison, he died from cancer when I was matric. So that was a big setback to me. Um, but from an early age on, I knew that I was, as a youngster. Now I'm talking about 9 years old. I was selling Volksblad newspapers for extra bucks. I was in a mule. They used to give us some soup and bread. So I worked with all the Tutsis back in the day, selling the Volksblad on the street corners. And I had my own little business. I would clean your garden for empty glass bottles, which I could go and get at 150 or 50 cents or whatever. I used to push trolleys at the Pick and Pay, for extra bucks to buy a He-Man toy or whatever I wanted. So yeah, if it wasn't for my mum, she's a woman of steel, and to have handled me with all my troubles and all my issues, I think she was a big pillar. I was taught in a Christian values. I was brought up in church. I had to go to church every Sunday with my brown suit. To work, I grew up in Wilhof. We still own that house. I'm fortunate enough to have bought it for her in Bedwell Street. It's a bachelor's, so we stayed there together. My whole school, primary school, high school. So yeah, growing up in Wilhof, back in the day, it was tight. We had a tight group of guys. We were all busy with something to make a couple of bucks. It's a community that didn't have a lot of money back in the day.
Yeah.
So you had to make a plan, to get some bucks. So early on, we started with some stuff, doing and hustling and bustling and, stealing clothes from Edgar's and what have you not, to get something new. But when it started, when my party day started, I would say I was around about 16, 17 about. I took my first ecstasy tablet. And first off, it just started as a party, I just wanted to party, go out and party. And then the entrepreneur in me saw, okay, listen, here's bucks to be made here. So from there on, I went into the dealing part. It's to support the habit mostly, because every night's partying and partying and partying. It's all you want to do. You want to party. And from there on, drinking, partying, going out. One thing led to another, and as I said, then I went into the dealing. I became a dealer. And at that stage, it was, I believe it was one of the biggest drug syndicates in South Africa at that stage, which I was part of. If I'm not mistaken, in 99, it was on carte blanche. But in any case, I started dealing. I ran a club with my guys. I had a few people working with me. So, the business expanded, so you have to you have to expand.
So sorry, the guys that were working with you, were they like working under you, or were you guys all together? And
we were all together in it.
Okay.
It's I was like supplying, and they were doing some work for me, putting in some work, selling some for me, and that sort of thing. So that's how we did it. Being a dealer, and in that lifestyle is, calls for you to be a different person. I was always drawn to wrong stuff, wrong things, violence, that sort of thing was I was drawn to that. I always wanted to be a gangster. I always told my mom, no, I'm not going to live to see 28. That was the type of thing, the life I was living at that stage. Because I was rebelling and doing what I was doing. I was thinking I'm Al Capone at that stage. And then, from the ecstasy, it went on to cocaine, and that's where the main thing started. Is cocaine is a different type of drug. That's a ongoing thing. You have to take consistently, And with the ecstasy also, then I overdosed a couple of times. And then, so I worked in the strip clubs, looking after the girls, working at the door. So I did that for a while. I worked at the whorehouses, doing that. Basically living on the streets, doing the street life thing. And then, from there on, it went to heroin. then the addiction started kicking in. Then it's
Yeah.
you get so fucked out of your skull from doing all the drugs and everything that you want to party, man. It's just a big party. So if I've got 100 pills in my pocket in the after party, I just take the pills and I will throw it into the crowd, and I just want everybody to party with you.
Yes.
So I was at the top of my game. I was called to all the private parties and all the nice parties and all the nice stuff, and I had nice stuff. My car was sorted. I had some bucks in my pocket, and it's living the life, but it's living a short life. And then from there on, yeah, you have to be, as I said, you have to be. You're not a nice person
Yeah.
when you're dealing, and when
Of
you
course.
especially in the clubs. You have to be a certain type of person. You have to have a certain type of personality. Running a club, working with people, because everybody wants to schnai you with a 10 or a 20 or what have you, and you have to handle that in a certain way, so they know. Listen, you don't have to. You can't fuck with this guy
Understand.
if you
Yeah.
knocking with $10, and it's difficult. As I said to you earlier when we were talking, if you check in a club, okay, did the guy give me $80 or did he give me $20? And if you find out he gave you $20, then you pull him out, you take him to the bathroom, you stick his head in the toilet, you flush the toilet, and you take whatever you can take. If he walks out naked and out of the club, he walks out naked. That's his punishment.
Yeah.
Cell phone, everything you can take. I took because it belongs to me now. And from there on, it's onto the heroin and coke, and then it's partying. It's going. It's just a wild life, man. You just, you drink, snort. As I said, sleeping tablets, pain pills, everything, anything you can get your hands on. You're doing it, man. And I would go into the clubs. I would be so out of my skull. The blood will be running out of your nose because you can only snort cocaine so much. Then your nose starts to bleed. Even still today, I've got nose issues.
Yeah.
And then you start smoking it, just to get it in. And I would walk into the club, and I had like 10 ecstasy, 12 ecstasy tablets. I have some microdots. It's an acid type of thing, psychedelics in my system, and just walking, eyes all flipped back. You're tipping your skull out, going into the Mystic Boer. I'll never forget it. Going into Mystic Boer and just sitting there and seeing Smurfies and talking to all sorts of things and opening a lot of doors that you don't know about.
Yeah.
And there was a stage where I was sitting in. I will never forget it, and I never knew it at that stage until later on. I spoke to somebody, and he told me what that was. So I was sitting, and now we candy flipping. Candy flipping is when you're sitting and you've got your eyes are all rolled back in your head, and you're just like flipping out of it. The music's in your head, and it's all glamorous and it's lekker because you've got now, that's the main thing about drugs, especially ecstasy, the dopamine and cocaine also. But it makes you forget about all the bad stuff in your life. Okay, so you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
It's so lucky. You can't get around that, and you have to tell the people that's the thing. It's lekker. That's why you do it. You go and do it because it's lekker. The partying is lekker. There's no fights. Everybody's loving one another. You're sitting, you're chatting with a stranger. I wouldn't even know you. I will sit there and we would have this deep conversation about whatever, what happened in your life, and it's just that's what drugs does. And I would be so flippant out of it that I would stand on my head on the tables and that sort of thing. I would slither like a snake on the floor. I'm tipping my skull off.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the table, and I'm sitting there candy flipping, enjoying the music and what have not. And at one stage, everything just went black. And I'm sitting there, and and I'm looking around the club, and there's no music, there's no nothing. I just saw the Grim Reaper. It's like pointing at me like this. And he's walking. There's nobody, but I'm in the club. The music's going on, but I'm just seeing the Angel of Death. The Grim Reaper, seeing him there. So I was thinking, yes, man, I'm having a flipping hell of a trip now. Okay, so that goes away. Okay, now I'm out of that. Well, when I woke up from that trip, I'm back in the club, and the whole roof is like on fire, and it's like swirling, and I'm sitting there tripping, and yes, man, it's wild. And the guy next to me asked me for a light, And I'm like, yes, I'm giving him a light. And when I lit the cigarette, his whole face is like a Doberman. So when I looked around, everybody looks like dogs in the place, man. It's like Dobermans all over the place. I'm like,
Yes.
what the fuck is this, eh? So I'm sitting there, and later on, I find out it's different levels that you go. It's doors you're opening
Yeah.
from the other side. It's and if you go back to Egyptian times, the Dobermans and that meant something, and in the darker on the dark side of that. So that's a door that was open
Yeah.
from the other side, which I had to go back and close. But yeah, I still went on partying. Oh man, and the funny thing is, always I will never forget. I always, before I went into the club, I would sit in my car, I would double drop the heater on because you want heat on. It just makes it lekker, when you've got some heat and you're sitting there chilling. I would pray to God just to protect me. So now I know I'm going into a club. I know I'm going to do something that I'm not supposed to do. I don't know if you're going with me, but please just protect me. I don't want to end up dead or end up. That
Man.
was the main thing. And I always had this guardian angel, I think, on my shoulder. That when I would go before I went into the club, I would either see the police that's watching the club. Oh, that's a coincidence. And then I would go back, they're taking pictures of the place, who's going in, who's going out, what have you not. So that was always something I did. I always prayed and said, please, help me and
Yes.
just look after
Yeah,
me,
just before you.
because it's like, when you're dealing, it's like, yes, it's a constant mission. You're always in and out. I'm going to the township. I'm going to the taxi rank 2 o'clock in the morning. Only white guy going in there. Back in the days, there were a couple of bucks going buying stock, getting stuff, it's you all over the place, So you're going into places. I went into Mabaleng, Lapeng. That's clubs. It was mainly Nigerian clubs back in the day, and yeah. Then we went on. I was still dealing and using a lot at that stage. Got picked up a couple of times, and then but never convicted or anything like that, luckily. Did a couple of bad things to some people who owed you bucks or what have you not. And then a day came when it really started, the reality of the whole thing started to hit me. We were a bunch of guys going out and I used to take pills by the hands, and I had one friend, Donnie. Shout out to Donnie in Jeffries, my best bud. He used to flip and pull the pills out. He said, "You're crazy. You just drop like 50 ecstasy tabs in your mouth." And he would push his finger in my throat just so that I can throw up the tabs, because I was going to overdose on those things, man. Could die from them because I'm taking cocaine and I'm taking acid, and you're taking all these different things. And at that stage, we went to the after party, organized some Thai white, that's heroin, made a line, and we chased the dragon. And yeah, you call it chasing the dragon. Either smoke it or you snort it or you shoot it or whatever. And my friend died. Overdosed. And the bad thing about that is, you're sitting there and you're seeing this happening, but you can't do anything, because that's a downer thing. You're just like, you're lying there and you're out of it, but is it happening? Is it not happening? What's going on? And yeah, so then I started realizing, listen, somewhere there's going to be a turning point now. Now I have to decide what's going on. But by this stage now, I'm so deep into all the connections and all the guys and what that that's
How to get out.
yeah, it's
How
the
to what?
you just have to listen. Luckily, the person that came into my life at that stage, it's Jackie. She was captain at organized crime, and she's the one who actually the other policemen who I had encounters with before that were aggressive, and they we're not nice guys because you're not a nice person, they flip and manhandle you, and this person came in and she's like, listen, sitting, chilling and, relaxed, and just the whole, aura around her, it gave me a purpose at that stage to say, okay, listen, there is some nice people out there, and then, after my friend died, yes, then I started to slowly move out and realizing, okay, listen, now you have to make a choice somewhere. It's going to be this way. You're going to go, either you're going to spend your life in jail like your dad, or you're going to die, or you're going to take the other route. Which way you're going to go. You have to decide. And it is... it's not a difficult decision. I knew what I had to do. But as I said, what do? You don't have money to go to rehab, because rehab is like, back in the day, I think it was like 15K. We don't have 15K to put me in a rehab center. What do? You have to handle it by yourself, So I just, at the end of it, I turned around and I said, listen, God, please just help me. I can't do this by myself. I really need you. I need you to help me with this. And I'm not a bad person. And it's not blaming it on my dad or, all those sort of things that, the way he was. It was my own decisions. I grew up, I wanted to be the tough guy of the neighborhood, and I wanted to be the gangster, and I wanted to be the guy, and I wanted to be the, be acknowledged when you walk into a room. Everybody's, oh yeah, here's Baba. My nickname back in the day was Baba. So here's Baba, here's the guy. This is the guy. You want to be that. You want that acknowledgement and that fear. You like the fear that goes with that. When people see it, listen, this is a guy. This guy did this and this and this and this. So you had a lot of people. I had a lot of people around me, and I also had a lot of fake people around me.
Yeah.
You always got people around you, and there's people always one looking to stab you or take your place or do whatever. And back in the 99, 2000s, even now, Bloemfontein, people think Bloemfontein's like it's just a little Bloemfontein, but if I can take you back, even now, I'll take you to places and show you things that you
won't believe.
Yeah, now broad daylight, I will go show you some places, and you will say, this guy's busy with this guy's doing that, they're doing this. It's scary what's going on. But in any case, from there on, it was just by the grace of God that Jackie came along, and I really owe my life to that woman.
Wow.
The way she treated me, how she talked to me, how it every time when I relapsed after that, I knew, okay, I had somebody to to go back to. When you talk, there's somebody that's caring about you, and looking after you, and you have to now lie to this person again. I used again. Last night I used again. Okay, now I started drinking again. Now this and that, and then life goes on, and it's relapse, and then you go on for a year, then you clean, then you think, okay, let me take a beer, drink a beer. When I took that beer, boom, back to the streets. Yeah, you just relapse again. And then where the big change really came is when I met my second wife, as Vicky is my second wife. She's the one that changed the whole. I'm still learning. I'm still learning to be. When I look at my stepdaughters, I look at my son. I was blessed with another son again, to see him grow up, and just to be there, and and thinking. It makes you think of all the stuff you did, and then you start to realize, and then then it's when God really starts to get into you, and you're starting to realize, okay, where do I have to go to close some doors now? Because now I'm a big boy, and He's talking to you like you're a big boy. According to me now, I think it works different for every people see it in many different ways. I'm seeing it as He's talking to me and showing me that, okay, maybe this is where you screwed up. How many people's lives didn't I screw up because of what I did, what I sold, what I,
Yeah.
but that, it's a lesson you were taught, and you have to close that door. How hard it is, you have to say, I'm sorry, and you have to go on because you are forgiven after doing all those things. But it only really happened when I met my wife. And I was at a stage also, once again, where I was praying, and I said, God, please just, I'm getting all the wrong people in my life, and I can't choose. I need somebody, but I can't choose them. And, please help me. And it was on a Saturday. On the Wednesday, she was on a 21 day. She was also divorced on a 21 or 22-day fast, and she was also praying for somebody to come into her life.
Wow.
And at that moment, I had a chick, and but in any case, I went in. She bought supplements from me. I took a whey protein, and we just started chatting, and she's like, "Listen, okay, but the day when you're single, call me. We go have a coffee." So I'm like, okay, that's like a sign now, eh? This chick, I like this girl. This is like a sign. So when I put up my phone, I phoned the chick. I said, "Listen, we're over." So I phoned her back and said, "Listen, I'm single. When we going for that coffee, So, so that's
Nice.
and that's
When you're single, so guess what? I'm
yeah,
single
yeah,
today.
I'm single now. Now we can go out, So this is and a week later, I knew this is the girl I'm gonna marry. I found her dad and said, "Listen, I'm gonna marry your daughter." And I didn't know how big her dad. My father-in-law is a monster of a guy, and I was speaking to this guy on the phone. "Listen, my man, I'm gonna marry your daughter. I don't care.
It's done.
It's done. It's a done deal." But all glory to God for sending me my wife, because she's the cornerstone. She prayed me. I was like a wild animal, and if you speak to her, she will tell you, I was like a wild animal when she got me. It's like it's weird how previous people, how they mess up your life, and you go through things, you go through stuff, and you don't realize it, but how messed up you actually are when you get the right person who's who wants to stay with you by your side,
Yeah.
no matter what. Because first time we were going to get married, I just left her. I said, no, I can't. I'm pulling out, and I'm all harde and it's if you just raise your voice to me, and till today I'm battling that, because anger is a big thing, and it's a big thing to conquer. Especially when you had all this guys, looking up to you, and you only have anger, you have violence to go back to. You rely on violence to get respect, and now you're in a, like, how you can say, almost a villain type of life.
Domesticated.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, you see this, they're talking a big talk, but and on the streets, you don't talk, you do. So it's difficult to adapt to that still now. But that's life, and it's when you open up to God, and I'm still learning. I'm always saying, I don't know the Bible, but I know Psalm 23, and that's my favorite. I always go back to Psalm 23. I just read that Psalm always, and I don't know the Bible, but I'm learning the Bible, and I've always known God. I grew up in here, as I said, but I just drifted away, and I went into this, is there God? Is there devil? Is there this or that? And I can tell you, when you at your lowest, and when you stop doing whatever you're doing, and you're battling, I was getting anxiety attacks that I would pass out in broad daylight. I would have been able to sit and do this. Sure. I couldn't speak to people. I would just be in a corner. If we went somewhere, I would lock myself. Anxiety is it's a terrible thing to go through. And then to handle that, and things running around at night, you see these dark figures, coming, jumping on you. They flipping, got their hands around your neck, and you can't move, and you can only pray. That's the stuff you go through. And you think it's withdrawal, but it's, now looking back, it's not withdrawals. That's the enemy attacking, coming back, because you now going
Something's happening.
you're leaving now, you know, and even when good things happen to you, there's still ways, and you know, that they try and come in and try and you know, get you back to go back to what you were doing, and you call you back to your old life and that sort of thing. So that's why I say, you know, once an addict, always an addict. So you cannot ever, not ever, for the person listening, and the one that's this message is going to, I'm speaking to you now personally, or whoever, you know, 10 or 20, whoever. If you're an addict and you want to quit, please remember, you are an addict till the day you die. You can never touch a drink. You can never have the same friends anymore. You have to choose. Choose and close the door and just move on. You know, and that's the only thing I can say about that. But yeah, that's more or less, you know, in a nutshell,
Yeah.
how it went down. So yeah, it's been quite a journey for me. And as I say, there's days that I sit in the mornings, I would just sit there and look at my family and look at what I've got and what we've built up in. It's amazing what we've built up in because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not good with dates. You know, this part, the cocaine ate, all the fucking whole part of my front lobe is gone from all the coke I took and all the drugs. So, we've been together now for 5 years. No, we've been married for 5 years,
Oh,
going
man.
on. We've been together for 6 years.
Yeah.
So if I'm right, sometimes I forget my own
That's
age.
fine. So I had to learn my wife's birthday on
Yeah,
a honeymoon
yeah,
in a taxi filled with foreigners
yeah,
in
goodness, man.
Thailand,
Yeah,
and someone asked me, so when's your wife's
yeah,
birthday?
yeah.
So it's fine. It's
I
okay.
also don't know. Still now, I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I still don't know. But she knows me,
It's
so
fine.
she's okay with that. And that's what makes it nice when you get the right partner.
Yeah.
You know, the person that understands you, and she really is my everything. You know,
Yeah.
that's the person that was sent to show me. You know, when the first time I went to church with her was Palisier is our gemeente.
Yeah.
I went to church with her. It's like I was so anxious going into church. I was sitting there, and the other day when we were there, she said to me, "You see how relaxed you are now? You're just sitting here. The first time we came in here, you were like, I was like this, you know, sitting in
Yeah.
church, and you're looking around, and everybody's looking at you. I've got tattoos all over, and it's like this and that. You know, street tattoos, and it's all flipping ugly stuff on you and what, but." You know, that's who I am. It's part of me. It's
Yeah, of course.
You know, I'll never take it off. It's always going to stay there, and it's a funny thing because it's some of the stuff that means some things on the streets. So I would be walking somewhere, and this guy would just come and greet me. You know, hey brother, what's up, my man? Yeah, how you doing, my man? Yo. And I was like, why do you know what that mean and what? So no, don't worry. It's just
Yeah, just
it's something they know what it means. So don't worry about it. But yeah, that's that's in a nutshell, Andrew. That's
Sure.
that's as I said, that's how it goes, man. Unfortunately, that life swallows you. In the beginning, it's lacquer. It's all lacquer partying. It's,
Yeah.
You know, it looks all glamorous, but at the end of the day, at 44, I'm still battling anxiety, now and then. Anger issues, as I said, I had a ton of them in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now I'm way calmer than I used to be because of my wife. And, she introduced me really to God. It took me back to, okay, she's reading to us every morning, 2 pieces out of our books we're reading together. And, it doesn't matter what I do or how angry I get or whatever, she's always just there. She's there for me.
Yeah.
She helps me a lot.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, that's it.
It's a beautiful story. And I mean, all the stuff you've been through, and to show, you didn't just kind of scratch the surface. You went in deep. And you got out. And you were able to overcome all of that, just all those crazy. I mean, I think in all honesty, we have no idea what it actually took to be able to get out of that.
You know what, and adversity, I think, is when the real you comes out, when the real person comes out, when adversity strikes and you in that deep hole. As I said, Sunday mornings were hell for me. It was hell, coming off to everybody thinking, we talked about how nice it is to be on drugs, how lucky it is, it's like a party, but believe me, the coming down side of it, the next day, it's if you don't kill yourself, you will kill yourself at the end of the day if you're not strong enough, because you get so down, because remember, dopamine in your brain goes up by 1,000 times. Now you drop back to normal.
To nothing. Yeah.
Then you're like, I'm a nobody, I'm nobody loves me, you're negative, you just want to die, you don't want to feel the way you feel. It's not lacquer, So now you have to get another fix to get that sorted out again.
That cycle just keeps on.
It just keeps on going and going and going.
Yeah.
And I was locked up 3 or 4 times, can't remember. Luckily, I wasn't in long stretches or any records or anything like that. But yeah, I've been being locked up for a weekend. It's been like being locked up for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Sitting there and there's 30, 40 guys in a place that can take 2 people. It's not nice. Bainsvlei is, I don't know what they've upgraded it now, but back in the day it was small, cold shower. It's not like so. I was just training the guys. We were doing push-ups and I someone took control. They started training because I was already into training back in the day.
Yeah.
To be
while all this stuff was going on.
I was still, but I went to a low point. At my lowest point, when I started training again. I was weighing like 55 kgs.
Jeez.
After all the drugs and all this stuff, I had like, my eyes were like black, my fingernails were black, toenails were black. It's you look like you look like a dying person, like a you're dead. It's like a dead person walking, like a zombie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the harsh reality. Luckily, I've got all my teeth still. This is my own teeth. So you lose your teeth. You lose. There's a lot of things you lose. I went from walking with my feet, selling everything, sleeping back at my mom's house, and that's why I always say, when Vicky got me, she took me, and I took her on a Sunday. We had like an 8-hour chat. And I told her my whole story, because Bloemfontein is like this, the people like to gossip and like to talk. And that's why I'm always open about it. When I meet somebody, I say, listen, I worked at a whorehouse and strip clubs and what have you. And if you want me to hook you up with a chick anytime, man, I might have some connections back. So, and then the right persons will stay and the wrong persons, they will leave, because, some people want to be associated with. And if you don't want to be associated with me, tough. It's your loss. You can learn something or you can't. You can like me or you don't like me. It goes both ways. But it's your partner in your life, the right person in your life, makes a big difference. It makes a hell of a difference. How you feel about yourself. When I told her about this thing, she was like jumping through the roof. She said, yeah, that's your calling. That's what you wanted to do. You want, even. If you can, you said to me, if you can reach one person, just change one guy's life. That guy can change another life, and in family, take it back to your family and how you treat, especially addiction, people with kids with addictions. That's a main thing. Which I also just want to say, if it's okay. It's how you handle that kid. You cannot handle that kid with aggression and hitting him like back in the old days. You have to show a lot of love, and unfortunately, it's gonna take a lot, because they're gonna steal, cheat, lie, do whatever they can to get the next fix. But you as a parent or a friend or what have you, you're just gonna need to. The breaking point is there. You're gonna have to stay on your knees. And you have to help your child. You cannot throw him away. Certain people, they're afraid of their kids away. And, me and my firstborn, we're not talking to one another. But eventually he'll come around, he'll come back to me. He hasn't got any issues or what have you. But I think because I left, he feels like I felt about my father.
Yeah.
And now at 44, I miss my dad. And I understand why he was in jail, why he was locked up, and what I have not. He did everything he did was more for me.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the nicest of nice guys. My mom I always say to people, my mom always talks nicely about him. But Monday was his birthday. I didn't even know it. He would have turned 72. So he died at the age of 48.
Wow.
So it's
4
4
years.
years.
4
I've still
years.
got 4 years left. I always tell my wife, I've got 4 years left, and then I'm gone. But he wasn't a nice guy to her. I was
Yeah.
taken with him to places. He used to go to the bars and fight. I would sit outside and drink this, uh, glass. What was it? 200 ml Coke out of the bottle, and he's just doing his thing there. There's no food on the table. There's no electricity. There's no water. There's no nothing there. It's just drinking, and that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And until I was going to standard 1, 9 years old, and then they got divorced. She took the step, and then I lost contact with him for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he was in and out of my life, and so it is not to say it's my dad's fault or what. It's your own decisions you make. I saw money. I didn't see my dad. My dad wasn't there. I saw the money, and unfortunately, that was the pulling point. From the enemy. Hey, come here. Here's some bucks and limelight.
The way to get out of the struggle.
And then you start getting hooked on the stuff, and then it's not nice. And to walk away, even to this day, you get your days that you think, yes, man, it's like a smoke. When I stopped smoking. I stopped everything at once. And the most difficult thing to stop doing is smoking. Nicotine was for me the most addictive thing I ever took. The other stuff was okay, but you miss the partying. That's the thing. I don't miss the drugs. I don't want the drugs at that anymore. But that actually it is the drugs, because it's the dopamine feeling of not caring. And when you have a dark day, then. But you have to handle it, and just you have to pray and just stay strong and have the right people in your corner.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. And you have to cut off the friends, man. That's the main thing. People don't understand. You can't stay friends with people that's hooked and still doing whatever they're doing or what have you not, and going out and saying, "No, I'm gonna be clean now." Those people have to move on. Either they go your way or they go their own way.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that I know of is locked up for life. That was running with us, and grew up with us. One of my guys that grew up with us is got a life term in Paulsmoor, and he used to own a club in I can't remember the club's name. It was a Cross Laping. Used to be the old Rattlesnakes, but it was a club after that. But in any case, he's putting a long term. So that's the way your life's going to end. It's either that or you chose to be a good parent, or try and be a good parent, a good father, a good husband, and take what you've learned from your mistakes, and try and look out for the warning signals and that sort of thing. Luckily, our kids are still young, but and know how to handle it when that day comes, because unfortunately it's part of.
Unfortunately,
it's part of life.
It is.
I can't lock them up and say you cannot go to a club, you cannot go out, you cannot do this or that. And I joke to a lot of people. I always make a lot of jokes. I mean, I want to go. I'm going to be the guy there. You want to go to a club with me? I'll take you. I'm always joking around and trying to make a bad thing, a bad situation in my head, a good situation. When I'm having a bad day, which is actually not right, but. It's you can't lock your kids up.
Yeah.
They're gonna go out. They're gonna have a drink. They're gonna do whatever. If you try and lock them up, you're gonna have trouble.
The foundation has been laid. You're there. You're back home.
Yeah. You just they need to know that they're loved, and that it doesn't matter what they do. Just come tell me. Listen, I took this, or I did this, or I bumped the car, or listen, I'm too drunk to get home. Please come pick me up. Don't scream and
Just
shout
have
at the
that.
kid. And they must have that. there must be boundaries, and then leave them. And when they're sober, and have a chat. Say, listen,
Yeah,
man,
it's
you hurt me last night. I love you. I'm there for you. I'll always be there for you. I love you, but man, you hurt me. What you did wasn't right. You could have done this and this and this. Explain to them all the consequences, and then you leave them. It's
like you said, unfortunately, like this is
it's
something.
yeah,
My son's 2 years, 3 months now,
yeah,
and I'm already. Some days I catch myself. I'm
yeah,
like, man,
yeah,
does he have to grow up? Does he have to
yeah,
be exposed to everything? Kind of a worried feeling, but
yeah,
I know
yeah,
it's the only way. It has to
yeah,
happen. Like life
yeah.
has to happen.
It has to.
And if I think if the foundations are, you also mentioned it's decisions. Everybody, but there's definitely you're laying a foundation at home. You're setting up a certain a house, a home,
Yeah.
and that definitely sticks. In your case, your mother did a lot of that,
Yeah.
and it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
Even though even it kind of gets covered with a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
happening, but eventually then like it
Yeah.
starts coming out again, starts coming
Yeah.
back. It's
Yeah.
also there pulling
Yeah.
and calling
Yeah.
you, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so no,
Yeah. It's
that's
definitely. Yeah. No, it's it's she's a she's not very tall, but it's she's the stuff she had to go through with me. Now as I said, I was very difficult, very, very, very difficult. I'm the right one, you're the wrong one. I was a lot of swearing, a lot of disrespecting, and stuff that you later on in life. Then as you get, I said, like I mean, we only get a sense at 40. Then you really start to realize, okay, what
Yeah.
life's about, and you're now getting into the groove of what's happening, what you're doing, getting into that lacquer, that
Yeah.
mode. And I only got in that mode when I found my wife. So that's, if I haven't found her, I don't know what would have happened, really, because she's, there's the only way, there's two ways. There's no green, and there's one way. That's the only way with her. And she's a big, 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 big child of God. She prays about everything. She prays for me. She prays for the kids, and it doesn't matter what. When we sat down on our first date, and I told her my whole story, and she still took a chance on me. She's like, "Oh no, it's okay. It's in the past." But you're gonna have to do this and this and this. And sometimes I get upset.
Amazing.
Because she's still, I'm like, listen, I need a set of a type of respect, because I'm from the streets, I'm that guy, and sometimes, when you with normal people, and the way they talk, I tend to get offended at voice tone. When a guy just speaks a little bit too loud, I want to, hey, brother,
What's happening?
Hey, what's happening here, my man? What you wanna do, But I'm, that I've got that under control. But that's it's just the way life, life teaches you, and going through that again, and now learning the nicer side, and what being nice can do. It's amazing. And it's lucky to go to sleep at night and not having nightmares.
Yeah.
And
getting up and
getting up,
feeling fine.
And that you're up, you're battling. There's always there's always stuff battling and things happening, and people around me, bad things happening to them at this stage. There's a couple of my friends that's going through some issues, which is not lucky for me, and it works tremendously on me, on my person.
Yeah.
And that's something that I need to cut, also learn to cut off again, because, when on the streets, you're a tight group, and your group is your group. That's your people, man.
Yeah.
You'll die for them. That's how it is. And I'm still feeling like that, So I trust
Very
people
close to
quickly.
you.
I'll take you into and when you're in my circle, then you're in my circle, and I'll protect you with my life.
Yeah.
So, normally you can't always be like that. Some stuff you have to cut off from, and some drama and some of that. You can't take all of that home. And
or not carry, just carry that extra weight home.
Yes.
in a way.
Yeah.
What age your children? How old are they?
The daughters are ages again. My son is
Oh
3.
man.
My stepdaughter, the oldest one is 13, and the youngest one is 9.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So yeah, no,
And seeing
they,
those kiddies grow up.
oh
And,
man, it's amazing. It's I never thought I would get this old. I mean, I've been stabbed, I've been shot, my arm has been almost been decapitated, completely cut off.
yeah.
So I never thought I would get to this age. I never thought I'll sit there and I look and you go through life and you think, oh yeah, so today's a bad day and all this shit's happening and this and that and what, and this guy drove in front of me and why the hell is he, people being idiots, and then I go home and I look what I've got. Look at this castle of a house we're living in.
Yeah.
I own my place in Wilhof, my mom's place, and I'm so proud of that place because when I moved in there, when after my divorce, the ceiling was still falling out. The carpets were the old carpets. So I said, "Then listen, I've got a few bucks now that I've earned. Respectfully earned. It's not it's some other stuff. Let's just fix the place." So I fixed it up completely, broke out some walls. So it's a little bit bigger now.
Yeah.
But it's like the kids when people go there. Some people would drive through Wilhof and say, yeah, it's a dirty neighborhood and it's this and that. But for me, it's special. It's my place.
It's your place where you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up there, and I can go into and my wife is like, yes, she doesn't want to get out here. Is it safe to get out of the? I say, oh, don't worry, people know me here, so you can go into the. It's unfortunately, it's a stigma
Amazing.
around that, and it's poverty. It's not nice, and it's happening all over. It's happening more and more and more, and you see all the younger kids are turning to the streets because it's quick bucks, quick money. It's a harsh realities of life, eh?
Yeah.
It's harsh. It's
hectic.
but it's up to us as dads, to know how to handle situations, how to handle your sons, and that little one of mine has got he's got my. My anger and my father-in-law, so he's going to be I don't know how I'm going to able to handle that one, but yeah, he's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah.
Because he's got his mom's genes, his grandfather's, both of them, and then mine also, so he's going to be a little bit of a tough one to handle, but I'm just so glad I was spared to see this and,
awesome.
and handle it, and my wife is, as I say, that's my everything.
Yeah.
My everything in life. It's we've got a couple of friends, but we don't go anywhere. We don't socialize.
Yeah.
My place is my home.
You want to be there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
That's awesome. It's amazing to
the only
have
place
that.
I want to be. Yeah,
Like you can't wait. Like weekends come. I just want to be at home, peaceful.
That's it.
In peace.
That's it.
That's awesome.
I've got the bikes, and the guys say, let's go for a ride, and I'll go around the corner, and then I'm already I'm missing home. I want to go home now, man. So, but no, it's like it's nice to know that that you are forgiven as a child of God. You are taken a path. You are taught things. Certain people are taken out of life. Certain things bad. And I'm not one of those people that's been through way worse things that I have been through. But talking to them also now is that they are being taught to teach other people.
Yeah.
They are the strong ones that's being taken out. You are a chosen one. The stuff that's happening to you is happening. God won't let things happen. Just He's not gonna. The things that's happening is He wants you to carry that on to the next person.
As that life.
We are doing now. The things you are doing now is awesome. People have to have podcasts like this out there, and let people know that there's hope. There's hope for you, man. If you're sitting at home now drinking and and doing whatever you want, there's hope for you. You know, you are loved. You are loved. There's people that love you. Your kids are loved. They will come back to you, no matter what you did in life. You know, how harsh you were, what type of person you were. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. At the end of the day, it's going to be okay. You know, love always. You know, God always conquers. There's just a reason why you at the stage now,
Yeah.
but it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it kind of qualify.
Yeah.
You know, your experiences qualify you to also be in that position where you can talk and you
Yeah.
can share and you can
Yeah,
say,
for
listen,
sure.
it has, yeah.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
doesn't always make sense in the moment. It doesn't make sense what's going on. It
Exactly.
feels like it's the end of the
Yeah.
road, but it's
Yeah,
not.
it's for sure. Yeah, 100% right, man.
Sure.
100%. Yeah.
I don't know. This is really a beautiful story. One more quick thing.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? Training?
Training. I'm doing online training. I'm doing.
Wow.
You know, I'm helping a couple of guys that's got issues, obviously. Talking to them, and then I'm doing online training, sports nutrition. You know,
Excellent.
that's my main
Wow.
thing. Yeah. So yeah.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
you know, it's amazing for me the role that training plays in a lot of this stuff. It's insane. I mean, every single guy I talk to
Yeah.
in my own life as well.
Mm.
You know, 2021 to go back there, I was also in a very
Yeah.
bad spot, and I remember, you know, I keep on telling the story over and over and over. Like I had the training background, and I wanted to go back there because I knew it had a massive impact on the way you think and the way you deal with stuff.
Mm.
And it's just interesting what a big role that also
Yeah.
plays for
Yeah.
guys. It's so important to physically, you know, challenge yourself, and that again mentally. Also, you get strengthened mentally.
Definitely. The dopamine, you know, the dopamine release from training is it's the same as ecstasy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the same. You almost get addicted to training. You know, I replace one addiction with another one, and you know, at one point it was you know, when I met my wife. My second wife, she's like, are you taking this a little bit too far? Because now it's you weighing your food, and I was in a competitive bodybuilding, and you know, so I was, and now I'm more relaxed with that also. You know, I'm doing my training, doing my thing, and but it's not, you know, I can't go with you guys now because I have to have a meal now.
Yeah.
And now it's okay. Where are we going? Okay, cool. Now let's go. Yeah, have some
Hey,
cheesecake.
it's you know what? It's a that's a good new
Yeah.
addiction to have. That's one that
For
you
sure.
know, I'm willing to. I'll die with that one.
Yeah,
I'll take that
yeah,
one. with me.
definitely, yeah.
Any day, any time.
For sure, man. For sure. No, definitely. And then to show, you know, share your story. You know, when your kids are older and what have you, not, they have to know what
happened.
What happened. They know, you know, when they, and my kids know, they know, they know what kind of life I went through, what I did, and, you know, all that sort of thing. So they know when they're going to step off the rails, I'm going to know.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately for them, I know when they're going to be wrong and when they're going to be right. But, you know, times are going to come. So unfortunately, you know, just be a good parent and try and...
If there's someone who might want to get in touch with you, be it for training or for advice or for just, listen, something's not nice.
Yeah.
Is there something, a way that we can get them in contact?
For sure, anytime. Yeah, I can give you my phone number. You know, they can phone me, hook up with me, come see me at I've got an office. So come speak to me, and we can sit down and have a chat. You know, I'll always help anytime.
I'll get some details from you. And we can maybe add it to the video afterwards. And
100%.
So
yeah,
Andre, that's that was a captivating story and a beautiful story.
Thank you so much.
And it's amazing how things work out and how things happen. You know, I mean, we don't know each other.
Yeah.
But it's just strange how it happens.
Yeah.
Like that moment, that evening when I remember I read that post and immediately.
Yeah.
I think it was actually in the day.
Yeah.
Like during the day somewhere. But anyway, I read the post and immediately.
Yeah.
I just sent you a message just out of the blue.
Yeah.
And that's.
I was so glad when I was. I'm normally not that much on Messenger and what have you.
Yeah, of course.
And Vicky came to me, she said, "Listen, you have to." I said, "Oh," and I went and I looked. I said, "Oh yes, I'm so glad." You know, this is because this is my passion. This is somewhere I want to. This is a calling I've got. You know, awesome. It's. I'm so glad you asked me to do this, and it's a privilege to be here.
Thank you so much
on the show,
Andre,
and you know, and be part of this. And
thank you for.
It's a bigger picture, eh?
Yeah,
it's a bigger picture.
And just thank you so much for sharing your story. And thank you for being a father.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks. And everybody watching, we'll leave the details in the description below. If you guys want to get in contact, maybe, for whatever the reason may be, you're welcome.
There we go.
Awesome stuff.
Thanks, you guys. Ciao.
Thanks. Thank you.
Ciao.
I say, Andre,
En daar's dit,
well
man.
done,
Yes, man.
man.
Ja.
Yes,